How humans built the tallest building on Earth. For most of human history, building extremely tall structures seemed almost impossible. Every time engineers tried to push skyscrapers higher, they encountered the same invisible enemy: wind. The higher a building rises, the stronger the wind becomes. At extreme heights, wind doesn't simply push against the building. It creates powerful swirling forces that can shake the structure violently. For decades, engineers believed there was a practical limit to how tall buildings could be. Yet in the desert city of Dubai, something extraordinary happened. A tower rose so high that it changed what humans thought was possible. The Burj Khalifa, reaching 828 meters into the sky, became the tallest building ever constructed. But the real question is not how tall it is. The real question is this: how does a building this tall avoid collapsing? The real enemy: wind. When people think about tall buildings, they usually imagine the biggest challenge is weight. But in reality, the greatest threat is wind. As air flows around a skyscraper, it creates swirling patterns called vortices. These forces can push a building back and forth repeatedly. At extreme heights, this motion can become dangerous. In some cases, buildings may sway so much that structural damage occurs. Even if the structure remains intact, excessive movement can make people inside extremely uncomfortable. Engineers quickly realized that simply building stronger walls would not solve the problem. They needed a completely different approach: the limit of skyscrapers. By the late 20th century, skyscrapers were already pushing impressive heights. Cities like Chicago, New York, and Shanghai had transformed their skylines with towering structures. Yet engineers knew something important. As buildings become taller, each additional meter becomes exponentially more difficult. Wind forces increase dramatically. Materials must support enormous loads, and construction itself becomes increasingly complex. For many experts, building beyond 700 meters seemed extremely challenging. Then Dubai decided to go even further: a radical design. To solve the wind problem, engineers needed a new idea. The solution came in the form of an unusual structure. Instead of a traditional rectangular tower, the Burj Khalifa was designed with a Y-shaped floor plan. This design spreads the building's mass across 3 wings. Each wing supports the others, creating a far more stable structure. But that was only the beginning. As the tower rises, the shape changes repeatedly. Sections of the building step inward at different heights. These setbacks interrupt the swirling wind patterns. Instead of forming strong vortices, the wind becomes unstable and loses its strength. In effect, the building is designed to confuse the wind itself, the hidden foundation. Yet even the most advanced design would be useless without a powerful foundation. The Burj Khalifa stands on an enormous underground structure. Hundreds of deep concrete piles extend far into the ground. These piles anchor the building securely into the earth. Above them lies a massive reinforced concrete raft foundation. Together, these structures distribute the immense weight of the tower. Without this hidden engineering, the skyscraper could never remain stable. In many ways, the true strength of the tower begins underground, building the impossible. Constructing the Burj Khalifa was a massive global effort. Thousands of workers and engineers contributed to the project. The building required enormous quantities of steel and concrete. Even the construction process itself required innovation. Concrete had to be pumped to extreme heights, far higher than had ever been attempted before. Special high-strength materials were developed to handle the intense forces. Acting on the structure, step by step the tower rose higher and higher above the city. Eventually, it surpassed every other building on Earth, a living structure. Despite its immense strength, the Burj Khalifa is not completely rigid. On windy days, the tower actually moves slightly. This motion is intentional. Allowing controlled movement helps the building absorb powerful forces. In other words, flexibility helps the tower survive. Visitors inside rarely notice this movement, but it is an essential part of the engineering design, the limits of human engineering. Today, the Burj Khalifa remains the tallest building in the world. It stands as a symbol of what modern engineering can achieve. Yet it also raises an intriguing question: If humans can build a structure this tall, how much further can we go? Will future cities create towers that reach even higher into the sky? Or are we already approaching the limits of what is possible? For now, the Burj Khalifa continues to dominate the skyline of Dubai, a reminder that with enough innovation and determination, humans can push the boundaries of the impossible